Wow. Okay. So I kind of went in there. You know what? I've been holding on to that for a long time, almost 20 years. And I don't think I've ever really addressed that. So here we go. We're addressing the baby mama thing, the first time baby mama situation. Regardless of whatever Romeo said to his people and his frat brothers, and there was actually a couple of his frat that really came after me, like really hard, sending me these really nasty messages. And you know what? That's their bro. And there's some of his relatives that probably don't forgive me to this day, but they never knew the whole truth. They only knew what he said, and that's fine. It is what it is. But no, I told him right away. And I also, gave him an out. I'm like, this is a lot. We're not in a good place as well. Like, there's some real serious things here, and you got some serious stuff you need to handle on your own. Like, you need to do some like self-fixing. And he was also telling me about some things that he was exposed to from preachers and stuff that kind of raised him. That was absolutely disgusting. For instance, he told me that there was one bishop that, when he would go places and he would speak and I guess preach at other churches, at one time he came back to his hotel and there was a girl waiting in his room, and that the bishop called him and was like, "Do you like the present I left you?" So he that's abuse too. So he had his own, it made sense. We both had abuse and trauma and toxicity in different ways, and we just latched on trying to fix it through each other. That's a recipe for disaster, and a disaster it was. So here it is, the first pregnancy. He was like, "No, like, I really want this. Let's do this no matter what." I'll say it again. He refused every step of the way ever to get a DNA test. We're in the hospital, the birth of our child. I said again, we can do a blood test while we're here. And he adamantly refused. He said he doesn't want to do it. He does not want to know. And we wound up having a couple other conversations as she began to grow and develop. I would look at her and I'd be like, and I knew it. I knew she was not his child. And I had said it a couple of times, and he just was like, he was not trying to hear it. And I wasn't trying to hurt him. I was just trying to get to the truth and just face the truth and deal with it. I thought that it was fair to just be on the same page as us actually facing the truth. And then I'm thinking about possible health conditions and health things down the road. He never wanted to open that door. I never deceived him, ever. That was a conscious decision. And in our divorce, I made sure that I got a DNA test, because there was no way I was going to allow myself to put him on child support and stuff like that, rather than giving him an option to, I wanted it to be, now looking back, I kind of feel like maybe that was naive. He said that this was his child. He adopted her. He put his name on the birth certificate. Maybe he should have stayed on the hook for her. I don't know, because I feel like introducing her to her birth father was never really a good door to open. But I did everything that I thought that I could that was right as a young person, and without, I feel like, a lot of wisdom or kind of guidance and all that. So another just hot mess upon hot mess. Opening that door has always been a hot mess. And a big disappointment. But I also felt like I didn't have much legal recourse, because when we finally when I decided I finally needed to leave him, he was very upset with me, and he did threaten to take full custody and to move across the country with Michaela. So then there was that as well. So I did need to prove he was not the DNA father, because and to this day, we have very little interaction with each other. But to this day, the very few interactions we have had, I still see the man that I chose to leave in divorce because of his codependency on his mom. And also, he's still, like, as recently as less than a year ago, still a bull-faced liar, just about the dumbest stuff that you don't even have to lie about. But he has gone on to, get his degrees, and I'm proud of him. And he's gone on to become a preacher at a prominent church, and I'm very proud of him with that. He's a great storyteller. I think he does have a heart and passion for the people. I just really wish that he, along with a lot of other men who, were monsters in different ways in my life, would just do their own personal work. And that's something that I've always strived to do. And I feel like once I got away from all of that, I was able to successfully do a lot more. So that's the summation of the first marriage. And, me being on this 10-year spree after that, of just being, I guess I'll say 10 years of turmoil, trying to find something in several men that none of them had. that I needed to have and discover and find within me. But it took me about 10 years to get to that place. And that's where I'm at now. And that's why I feel like it's time to tell that story now from this space. So that's it. That's chapter 3, about some more defining moments with my father, about PJ, and about Romeo. The next chapter is about, we'll call this person DC, like DC Comics. And the story gets darker. It gets darker. As a matter of fact, the story of DC is so similar to Who the F Did I Marry? When she was talking about different things, the fake buying of the house, the fraud, all that, God, that the next chapter, it has all of that. Like, I didn't realize that so many of these monsters existed. God, I'm gonna leave it here. It's time for me to go and mommy and things like that, and rejoin my household. So that was chapter 3. Chapter 4, get ready for that one, I'll say that. And thank you for being a space for me to share, open up, and drop some comments and let me know your thoughts. But also, more importantly, if you share similar stories, I want to hear them, and I want you to know that you are not alone. We are in a time and an age of truth, where women are coming out of the shadows and they are telling their truths and debunking a lot of these myths about the myths that come along with the myths, the lies, the chains that come along, the chains and the bondage that comes along with still being in a patriarchal society. I am so happy and proud to be alive during a time where we are finally doing more work to dismantle that crap. You know, the fact that government can tell us what to do with our bodies, the fact that it's still almost legal for husbands to abuse their wives. There's so much. The fact that we're still in a society and a culture that will laugh at men pretending to be dumb, and that will praise men for doing the smallest things that they should be doing so much more of, like baby. The fact that we're in a society that we can allow men to say they're babysitting their children. I mean, there's so much. The life that I lived and the abuse that I suffered and the dysfunction that I had to literally just try to claw my way out of, not even knowing what direction to go in. It is a result of living in a patriarchal society. And it's everywhere. It's pervasive in the church, in the home, black, white communities, schools, work, and these are things that need to be addressed and talked about, and not just talked about, but some new decisions being made, some new commitments being made, and this stuff needs to be dismantled. I am speaking because I'll be damned if my children, if my daughters and son have these same experiences. I'm doing everything that I know to do my part in words and in action, while I am here, to leave this world a better place for my children, and if they decide to, for their children as well, and for anyone else that I can impact in a positive way, and to help get other people to healing in a healthier, happier, more equitable society. Okay, that's it.